Hello, today we're going to be doing the experiment of how to turn a regular chicken bone into a rubber bone. So for that we will be taking chicken bones from chicken wings that we ate yesterday and placing them in vinegar over a period of 3 days to see what effect happens. I will get back to you on that in 3 days to see the results. Hi again, so it's been 3 days that the chicken bone has been sitting in the vinegar and we're going to see how it turned out. So as you can see, I have two different bones here. One is obviously much larger than the other, and I did this to see if the size of the bone actually came into effect when actually sitting in the vinegar. So let's see. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but I am able to kind of bend it a little bit. It seems to be much more wiggly around the edges, but the stem right here, or this part right here, is still pretty hard. Let's see with the smaller one. Okay, so it's actually quite rubbery. More so than the other one. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to put them back in the solution. And we're actually going to see if having them sit in the vinegar for a couple more days, if that will actually change anything. Hello everyone, so it's Friday, which means that the bones that I've set in vinegar have been soaking for a total of 5 days. Now the original experiment just said to soak them for 3 days, but as part of my inquiry, I wanted to see if the bones would become more rubber-like in texture if they sat in this vinegar solution for longer. So we're going to try and see if there was any difference to what we saw 2 days ago. Oh, and just a quick note before I take the bones out. As you probably noticed earlier, I have 3 different mason jars here. Each jar contains different kind of scenarios just to make the experiment a little bit more interesting. So in the first one, as you've seen before, this one has 2 bones, a bigger one and a smaller one. The second jar has a lot of bones in the same amount of vinegar. If you can kind of see here, they're about the same. And then in the third one, I have a different bone altogether. The other bones were all chicken bones from the wing. And in this jar, I got the bone that you would find in a pork chop, just to see if the texture would become different from the different bones. So let's take a look. Okay, so we have all the bones out of the vinegar. And let's see if there's any differences. So the smaller one before, it did bend, but not too much. And if you can see, the bone has completely turned into rubber here. It even bends completely. The bigger one is a little bit more movable, but there is still some resistance in it. So the size of the bone definitely comes into play with how soon it becomes rubber-like. So in this mason jar, we had a lot of bones in the same amount of vinegar as the first jar. So, yeah, this is pretty rubbery. So the thing that I'm noticing is that the thinner bones became rubber-like a lot quicker than, say, the bigger ones. The bigger ones, like this, this one's still completely hard. Just the ends, maybe. Okay, so the thinner the bone, the quicker it becomes rubber. Now to the pork chop bones. If you can see, in comparison, sorry, that one's not good. Let's take the first one. The chicken bone, in comparison to the pork chop bone, is a lot bigger. What I noticed here is that the end here, which is more like cartilage, I believe, is quite movable, but in here, with the bone marrow, it is still pretty hard. Same goes for the smaller pieces, as well as the larger pieces. And yeah, In conclusion, there are many factors that can affect your experiment. The size of the bone, the type of bone, as well as the amount of vinegar used to soak the bones can all affect the results that you may get when trying to turn a chicken bone into a rubber-like bone.